Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I'm here today with one of our new 2020 Cayenne Coupes, or Cayenne Coupes, as Porsche wants us to call them. I think they've done an outstanding job, actually, with this car. I wasn't entirely sure when they first told us they were going to come out with a version like this, but when they did, I think the execution was phenomenal. The car looks awesome, and if anything, it can be argued that this is what the Cayenne should have been all along. You know, there's been some other kind of slope back larger SUVs on the market for a bit, and Porsche didn't actually enter that, but the Cayenne always has been the sportiest SUV in its class, so it only makes sense for it to now finally look a little bit sportier as well. And again, I think they just executed phenomenally well. It looks excellent, even better in person than it does in the photos. Now with the Cayenne Coupe, it's basically like the other Cayenne, so you can get it in all the same kind of engine variants and trim levels, and that's all the same. There's only a couple of differences. Obviously the shape, it's a little bit more sloped in the back, and it also comes, a part people don't always appreciate is that it comes with a lot more standard equipment. So when you look at the price difference between the Cayenne and Cayenne Coupe, it might look like it's considerable just for a different shape of the same car, but you don't have to tick any boxes to get the panoramic roof. All of the Cayenne Coupes get that. They also get a 20-inch wheel as standard, whereas it's only a 19-inch that's the standard wheel on the regular Cayenne. And the Sport Chrono package, also standard on the Cayenne Coupe and optional on the Cayenne. So there's a bunch of stuff that they've kind of tossed in just to make it a little bit of a better value, but you may not be aware of that. So that's what we're here for. And I'll just explain a little bit about that Sport Chrono package before I move on from it. It gives you a little drive mode selector on the steering wheel, a little kind of switch you can rotate to move through the normal mode, which will be the default, over to a sport mode for sharper throttle, later shift points, things like that. There's also a Sport Plus mode, which is going to take that even kind of to the next level, and then an individual mode, which you can tailor to your own personal preference. And then finally, in the middle of that switch, there's a button Porsche calls the Sport Response button, and when you press that, it just kind of gives you all the power available immediately, without delay. It's kind of like a push to pass button. It doesn't give you more power, but just makes it all available kind of right now. So it's a pretty cool feature. But let me dive now into this particular example. So it is white, as you can see, but not just the regular white. This is the Carrara white metallic. So on an overcast day, they almost look the same, but in the sunlight, the metallic one really sparkles and has a little bit more depth to it than the standard white does. The wheels on this one, we upgraded to the 21-inch. These are the Cayenne exclusive design wheel. I think they look great. And the idea there in the shape of the wheel design is actually to mimic the Porsche crest, which I think is a really cool kind of subtle touch. Some other stuff on the outside here, you'll notice the, yes, you will, the sensor on the front of the car. It kind of looks like a round sensor there. That's for the adaptive cruise control. So all the cars have regular cruise control as standard, but in this one we optioned the adaptive cruise, so you can set your following distance from the car in front of you. If they brake, then it'll brake for you automatically to maintain that set gap. We're finding more and more people are kind of considering that a must-have option, so we're putting it on most of the cars now that we order. As well, I guess I should have mentioned when I was talking about the wheels, but when you go to the 21, you get this little wheel arch extension. It's body color and it extends a little bit. Subtle touch, but does have a big impact on the aesthetics of the car. Also, you may not be able to see in the video, but there's a little kind of protrusion under here, and that's indicating that this one has the surround view camera. So all the cars will have a rear view camera and sensors on the front and rear, but with this one we upgraded to the full 360-degree view. So you have that camera on the rear, you also have one under the side mirror here, of course another on the other side mirror, and then one up front, and it'll stitch those images together to give you that top-down 360-degree view. It takes a little getting used to if you haven't used one of those systems before, but once you learn to trust it, it works phenomenally well. It really does show you everything. It's just kind of a different perspective to get used to. And there's different modes too. You can kind of cycle through if you want to look straight down the side if you're parallel parking, or a wide angle if you're pulling out and there's somebody kind of blocking the way a little bit. So it just gives a lot better visibility for parking and kind of parking lot situations. Other stuff outside, I often talk about the roof rails on our cars in these videos and mention how you have to get them from factory if you ever want them. With the Cayenne Coupe, they've done it a little bit differently. They'll never have roof rails, but what they have actually is if you open the door in the sill up here is where you can actually mount the crossbars to. So you can still put crossbars on these cars and put your ski racks or whatever you want to put up there. You just don't physically see the rails on top like you would in the conventional body style. Let's see here, what else outside? I think that about sums it up for the outside of the car. So let's move on to the inside of the car. This one has the standard black interior, by far and away our most popular interior choice, definitely the one that I would recommend. And then we did the Premium Plus package, which again we almost always do. There's a ton of stuff kind of packaged in there that Porsche considers to be, for most of our customers, the must-have features. So they lump them in that package and give it at a bit of a better price than selecting them all individually. So that gives you things like a seat upgrade. You've got a couple of options for your seat upgrade, the 14-way or the 18-way. This one has the 18-way, which we don't see as often. The 18-way seat is a little bit more heavily bolstered than the 14-way is. Still gives you the thigh extension and the lumbar support that you'd get on that 14-way, but then also gives you variable bolsters. So even in their kind of static position, they're most out, it's still more heavily bolstered than the 14, but you can really wrap it in to hug you that much tighter on the seat base as well as the seat back. And then also the headrests integrated into the seat in the 18-way. It gives it more kind of a sports car vibe in there versus the more conventional 14-way seat. So cool to see those. I do like them personally. Those seats also are heated as standard, but as part of that Premium Plus, they're ventilated as well. And that package adds heated seats for the rear. And I'll mention on these Cayenne Coupes, you can get them as just a 2+2 with 2 seats in the rear and kind of a little console in the center. This one we optioned to do what they call the 2+1 in the back. So you do have a center seat with a seat belt. You can seat 5 in this example. But some other stuff in that package that gives you the Bose audio system on the 4-zone climate, so they can have independent climate zones in the rear in addition to the standard independent 2 front climate zones. And what else am I neglecting to mention there? Oh, of course, the headlight upgrade, the Matrix LEDs, part of that Premium Plus. So they are LEDs, they're very, very bright. And what the Matrix part of it is they have 84 individual LEDs in there. And if there's a car coming the other way, you can have your high beams on, and rather than the other systems that can just kind of shut the system down or tip it out of the way, this one can leave the majority of those LEDs on and turn off only the individual ones that are affecting that car as it's driving by, and give you maximum visibility otherwise. So really cool feature to have, and we're putting that in a lot of our Cayennes as well, obviously because it's part of that Premium Plus. But then beyond that, we did add a couple of other extra things as well, like the sport exhaust system, rarely selected on a Cayenne, but we've been putting it on more of the Cayenne Coupes just because they are a little bit sportier and a little bit more emotional, and the sport exhaust definitely helps with that. Doesn't change your performance, doesn't add horsepower, but it just definitely dials up the excitement a little bit. So you have the button in there you can press, and it just opens the baffles, makes it a little bit louder, a little bit more emotional while you're driving around. And then as well, the inductive charging. So a new feature for us. You don't have to plug your phone in to charge it. You just put it in kind of the designated area in the center console, and it will charge automatically. No need for cables. As well, all the cars have navigation and Apple CarPlay, and now the CarPlay is wireless, so you don't need your cable for that anymore either. You can just set it in there, it'll charge itself and automatically sync through for the CarPlay. I should have mentioned as well, as part of the Premium Plus though, the lane change assist. I missed that one. That's your blind spot warning. So another must-have. That guy's in here, you don't have to worry about that. There's quite a bit in here. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Yes, the last thing. Another small touch that I think has a pretty meaningful impact, and that is the seat belts. So we tweaked those a little bit. The standard would just be a regular standard black seat belt, but in this one we did them in Bordeaux red to again make the car feel a little bit sportier, a little bit more special. Every time you get in the car, there's just that kind of splash of color, and it I don't know. I think it really makes the car feel a little bit more special in those kind of small subtle ways. So if you do like this example, come on down, check it out, pay us a visit. In fact, when we're done here, this one will be our new demonstrator. So this is the exact car that you can come down and take for a drive if you're interested in a Cayenne Coupe. If this one isn't quite right for you, we do have a couple of other ones in stock, though they've been selling pretty well lately. In the last couple of weeks, we've had a few people take delivery, so you will start to see them out on the road here pretty quick, I should think. So yeah, do check the other videos out. If you have another one you want to come see, give us a call, pay us a visit. We'd be happy to take you for a spinner or give you any other details that we missed in the video. Thanks a lot for watching.